specifically talking about some guys that are playing right now down in Atlanta at the Peach Jam, the culmination of the EYBL circuit, correct?
Yep.
The Nike circuit. The Adidas teams, they play on their own deals. They don't play in that. They don't go to others. It's kind of sad sometimes that you don't see some of these teams play against each other, but nobody cares anymore. It is what it is. It's such a flipped up deal. But Brice Sensabaugh, we've mentioned his name a couple of times from Florida. Someone that the staff are looking at quite intently.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's a late offer. Indiana offered him just about, I would say, 3 weeks ago now. A guy who missed all of last year due to a knee injury. So he's been kind of off the grid for a while. Not ranked among many of the recruiting services if people really want to get into the details about the rankings, but he's a guy who is definitely going to be in the next rollout. It's kind of a 6'6", more of a bigger body, pretty athletic, really good frame, but he's someone who's been probably the most impressive player over the last few days down there out of anyone. He had a 27-point performance in his first game or in his second game, been in double digits every single game, had another 18-point game last night. And he's someone who comes off the bench for his AAU program as well. He plays with Bruce Thornton, a guy who Indiana was out for a while, a couple other high major guys as well that are in the top 30, top 40. So their roster's loaded, and he's been the best player on that roster for this entire week. Guy who can shoot the lights out of the ball, play a few different positions, and he's actually been at the top of their full court press for most of their defensive possessions. Wow. He flies around. Yeah, he flies around the floor and really just does everything that you need out of any sort of player on the floor, and can guard and play a few different positions. So he's someone that I really like. I've been extremely impressed with his performance, and I know a lot of other people have as well over the past 3-4 days.
He sounds like a cross between OG Anunoby and Juwan Morgan. Kind of a diamond in the rough find, 6'6", 230. You don't see many kids in high school carrying that kind of weight. I mean, usually 6'6" kids are 215 maybe, but he's got the bulk on him, like you said. That matters because he's already used to carrying it. So when he gets to college, he doesn't have to add a lot of bulk, just strength. He's a tremendous ball handler too. He has a lot of good guard skills that allow him to be at the top of the key and take people off of the dribble. There are multiple times where he, over the past few days, where he's not just dribbling to dribble, he actually dribbles with a purpose. And I think that gets lost with a lot of these AAU games. He does a phenomenal job getting to wherever he wants to get on the floor, and can make plays off of the dribble better than those guys that you were just talking about for Indiana. So he's one of those guys that I would keep an eye on for IU as kind of one of these late bloomers for the class of 2022. Yeah, when you see an unranked 3-star being chased by a staff like Indiana, that should tell you all you need to know, because I'm sure other offers will be forthcoming. But yeah, if you can get a kid like that locked down early, that would be huge, because he sounds like a high ceiling player. Kyle Filipowski, we know he's a high ceiling player.
Yeah, and he had probably one of the best opening day performances. He had 19 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists in that opener. Was 9 of 10 from the floor. His skill set is one that you don't typically see with a 6'10" guy, especially in high school. He's extremely developed at this stage and can do a lot with the ball on when he's on the ball and also when he's off the ball. Kind of more of that versatile step out, hit a three, can take you off the dribble as well, can take you full court. But yeah, he's a guy that has kind of been trending a little bit lower on Indiana's radar. Once he got that Duke offer, that's kind of the team that you look at as that team to beat for Filipowski. But yeah, he's going to be someone wherever he goes is going to be tremendous from day one, right when he steps on campus.
Caleb Glenn, kid out of Louisville,
Male high school, talked about earlier that, it's rare that Indiana is recruiting kids from Louisville or from Kentucky. And right now they've got offers to 2, one of which is just highly unlikely in Reed Shepherd. But this one, I see the opposite because for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'll have to go back and look, but it can't be many. How many guys has Mick Cronin put in the NBA? Mick Cronin. Chris Mack put in the NBA. Not a ton. And I think that there's problems coming for Louisville, for the NCAA. That's got to be in the back of your mind. And you know that Woody is an NBA guy. So I think that they may have an advantage on this kid over Louisville.
Yeah, and the fact that before he had an Indiana offer, he took an unofficial visit already this summer. Then he got the offer after that. So he was interested in Indiana before. But he's one of these guys. He has probably one of the better frames for kind of a 3-4 mix in the class of 2023 that I've seen in a while. Super physical guy, can play around the rim with the best of them, no matter who he's going against. Tremendous rebounder, tremendous athlete. Great length. So he's one of these guys that if you look at Indiana's roster, he's one of those guys that they've really been missing on for the past few seasons, is that bigger wing, athletic wing, but someone who comes in with a college body already. And he's one of those guys that I think you look at as, if you're able to snag him in the class of 23 to go along with who they're already after, that would kind of set Indiana up for the next few years, because he's one of these guys that hasn't even reached his potential or is even close to his potential. And once he starts knocking down his outside shot a little bit more consistently, he's going to be one of these guys that you're not going to want to see on the floor in any college game.
Well, not against you. But yeah, getting those guys, that would, Remy, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. The last, from last kid. But this is a completely different type of player. I think he is Caleb Glenn. I think he is a Mike Woodson type player. I really do. It's weird. I don't know why I'm saying that, but it just seems that way. Let's see. I already talked about Filipowski. I got him out of order. My bad. CJ Gunn. That is a name that he committed early to IU, committed to Archie Miller. The staff is not under no obligation to honor that, but they have honored that offer that's still out there. But we've seen with this staff, offers are really nice, but there's no guarantee to the offers. It seems like on this, you still have to earn that final offer. It seems like an offer is the initial offer, but these are not final offers right now. And I think you have to earn a final offer. And CJ Gunn is one of those players that I think is going to have to earn that final offer from Mike Woodson's staff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, I mean, you look at what he did towards the end of Lawrence North's season last year, is really the player that you're going to end up seeing next year. They just had so much talent around that roster and a much different style of play that really didn't suit him for being as athletic and a guy who can really get out in transition and use that athleticism. It just wasn't really on display for most of the season. You saw that a little bit earlier this summer with Indy Heat as well. And they just have a loaded roster. So he's never going to be the guy on Indy Heat as well, especially playing with a guy like Fletcher Lawyer, who is absolutely scorching the Nets with his summer. But so far through the first few games, he's had a very good tournament. He's been extremely aggressive to start the game, has sparked most of those early runs for Indy Heat, got in the lane, got that elevation back that I think he lost a little bit earlier this summer with that ankle injury that he had. But one thing that I think would really help CJ Gunn in his development is not so much his overall skill set, but just his mindset and not settling so much for mid-range jump shots. He's a tremendous shooter, tremendous mid-range jump shooter, but there's just been too many times that I've seen him settle for those 15 to 17 foot jumpers instead of taking one or two more dribbles as he has the defender beat and getting to the lane. He's a really good free throw shooter, but he just doesn't shoot a lot of free throws. And I think that's the biggest thing that I want to see from him going forward is attack the rim a lot more, get to the free throw line, see some shots go down, because he's one of these guys where if he gets off to a hot start, it's going to be difficult to kind of slow him down, but he can be streaky at times. So I think that's the biggest thing that I'd like to see in his development is just attack the rim more, and be more aggressive at not just settling for jump shots and getting past that defender.
Yeah, and the coach Woody has shown that you're going to have to fight for these scholarships. Now, I will note that since the summer AAU season started and these guys that have received these IU offers have played well, I've seen CJ Gunn's play increase. He has really started to light it up. He had 30-point games and started to really play much harder. I think he saw that, hey man, this is a competition, which is exactly what the Mike Woodson staff want. They want these scholarship offers to be competing with each other for this offer. They want the best of the best, and that's what his plan is. There's going to be a lot of guys offered by Indiana that don't come here, and not all of them, an abundance of them might not be because they turned Indiana down, but it's because Indiana ultimately, I hate to use the word turn them down, but used a different option. But hey, it's going to be different. Things are going to be different. CJ Gunn, of all the one difference between him and everyone else we've spoken about, he's the only kid that's from Indiana. How much does that matter? You thinking? I know that I've just said that it doesn't. We've talked about that, but to not recruit any Indiana kids, would that send a bad message? I mean, I know they are recruiting, but to not bring any Indiana kids in.
I think CJ Gunn's going to be a Hoosier no matter what. He's gonna have a good career at Indiana, and I think he's a really good piece to this 2022 class. Especially with all the other pieces that they're going after. So he's going to be fine. He's going to be an Indiana Hoosier, and he's going to have a good career. I think looking past that, though, it's going to be important to make sure that you don't lose those in-state kids, especially the top one or two in the state. In these next few classes, they look to be some of the top talent, not only in the state, but also in the country here. Especially with a guy like Xavier Booker with that potential that he has, and Indiana's in on him extremely hard already. So it's going to be important, at least every single class, to get at least one Indiana kid, just not to turn off any of these coaches. And I think Mike Woodson knows that. He's obviously a guy. He knows what it means to play at Indiana, and he knows that pride, especially for some of those in-state kids too, what it means. So in order to kind of build this program up from where it's at now, you're going to need to still recruit these Indiana kids, because they're still going to be the backbone of the program. And most of these guys are at least going to be there for more than 1 year. And that's what you really need, especially from Indiana kids.